Hey, it's Cashflow Mike, and today we're going to talk about my 9-question enrollment framework. That's right. It's a way to actually get your clients to enroll in your advisory services program. Now, realize this cheat sheet, this 9-question cheat sheet, is about introducing people to sales. Sometimes in the accounting profession, bookkeeper, accountant, CPAs, they haven't done a lot of sales, right? So this is more, it may come off as salesy, it may come off a little harsh, it might be a hard sell, not intended to, but it can be if you just read the questions. What it is, it guides a conversation. And sometimes when you're in an advisory role, you've got to ask some tough questions. But realize this, all of these questions are designed not to be about you, but to be about your client, right? It's about their dream, their vision of the future. So what we're trying to do is get them to visualize it and crystallize it, say it to themselves, see it for themselves in the future, understand that there might be some issues or challenges that they're facing in order to get there, and then plant the seed that you can help. What we're not going to do is be introducing your services. This is about how to just start the conversation, how to get them to know what you're going to be working towards. Because again, in the relationship accounting professional, world that I'm trying to create, because I believe that there's a new type of advisor in the world, and it's somebody that actually cares about their clients, right? And they're in a position where they can, help, and they want to know, and they want to be involved. So if we're going to get there, if we're going to get work together for the next 5, 10, 25 years, we got to know where we're going. So the very first question I like to have, with a new client or a prospective one, or even an older client, is where are we going? Because we've got to start today, right? Every decision we make going, from this point forward is going to be focused on them and what they're trying to accomplish. So let me go through it. This is just a quick video kind of highlighting it. There's a more in-depth article with tips and tricks on how to actually employ the 9-question enrollment framework. There's a cheat sheet. There's even a way for you to practice it on yourself, because it has to become part of what you're doing. There's an empathy factor that has to be associated with this. So I'm going to use a cheat sheet today. Just download it and print it, and we'll go through it together. So usually what I do is, right up front, I've got to tell them, all right? So here's how you start the conversation. Just tell them. Just say, hey, listen, I know I usually just deal with you on, your transactions, filling out your sales tax forms, filling out your income tax forms. But, I wanted to take some time today to talk to you about some other things, that are going on in your world, because I see your financial numbers all the time. And usually in my line of work, I have long-term relationships, sometimes spanning decades. Right? And in order to give you the best service from my point of view, in order to give you some guidance, some advice, because I see myself as more of a coach than I do an accountant. But what I need to know is, where we're going, what we're going to do, what you're trying to do. And if I can understand that, I can give you better advice on how to get there. So what I like to do today is just kind of ask you some questions, kind of get to know you a little bit better. Maybe some things we've talked about, but I'm trying to understand you and what you're doing a little bit better. So if you don't mind, we're just going to do that today and, kind of get to know you. That's all I'm looking forward to do. So, all right. So, in the way you'd start that conversation, that's me. I'd start it. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to be talking about. I realize that you're not used to it. But then ease on in. So, hey, since I brought up where we're going, what we're trying to do, tell me your goals. What does the future look like in your world, right? And let me be more specific, because I know that's such a vague question and it's so out there. How about let's break it down into 3 things, right? What do you want to do personally? What do you want to do professionally and financially, right? Because they're all kind of different, but they all match up to the same goal in the end. So I want to make sure that we're working towards that same goal. So you might hear them answer like, well, I want to retire in Arizona, I want to make sure that I have a legacy to be known as a good man and, have the money to do it, right? It's going to start off big like that, and that's good. It's supposed to be a light question. It's supposed to just get, people talking, those type of things. They're like, okay, well, I understand what you're trying to do. What you want is for them to start saying it out loud, and then you're looking for clues on how you can help, right? Not only how you can help, but what's most important to them, because you're going to start using that as kind of that driving factor, that motivation to act. Another purpose of the 9-question enrollment framework is to be able to choose the right clients, because if you're going to scale, if you're going to be successful in a coaching environment, you've got to find the right client that can act, and he's motivated and he's willing to work with you to get things done, right? Because a good coach has to have good participants, to be able to run the plays. So that's what we're looking for, and these questions are going to help you determine that. So that first question number 1 is what are you working towards personally, professionally, and financially? And realize this, I'm writing out the question. I don't expect you to read it, right? Read it to your client. I expect you to employ your own personality, put it together, make it conversational. But this is kind of the topics. You can use this cheat sheet to kind of guide your conversation, and after a while you won't have to. Okay, so after they've told you what their goals are, personally, professionally, and financially, what we're going to do is ask them, okay, hey, well, are you doing anything now, right? I mean, you told me you're trying to do this personally, you're trying to do that professionally, and something else financially. What do you got in place? I mean, maybe you got some plans in place, maybe you're working on something already, what's happening? And let them talk, right? This is where you're going to employ kind of that 70-30 rule of coaching, which is, they talk 70% of the time, you're going to talk 30% of the time, and you're doing that by asking good open-ended questions. So, what are you doing right now? And it could be nothing. Maybe they're not doing anything. They just know they have a goal, they want to work towards it. But you're going to find out where they are, so you can kind of assist, tweak. If they're off course, kind of put them back on course, but you got to understand what the current situation is. And then after they get done telling you, okay, I've got these things happening on, saying, well, hey, I realize that you're doing, this personally, and you've got these plans going on professionally and financially right now. If you had to, which one do you think is most important? Which one do you think is the one that if you had to give up the other two, which one would you focus on? And right there, you're going to start to see where their heart is, right? Maybe it's that personal goal. It could be, a factor about a legacy. They want to leave that behind. But no matter what, financially, it has to be one of the most important, their financial goal, because a lot of times that's what's going to fund the main dream, right? What we're trying to do is get to the main dream. And believe it or not, you as an advisor, you as a coach, you as the accountant, bookkeeper, banker, you're there to help people achieve their dreams, right? You're there to help them. So that's what you're going to do as a coach. So you're going to ask them, kind of what's most important. And then you can label out the other 3 too, right? Okay, so your personal is most important, followed by financial and professional. Okay, great. Kind of see where we're at and where we're going. Hey, and by the way, why did you pick, and this is question number 3, why did you pick your personal goal as the most important? Why is that most important? See what I did there? If I just read these questions, they would just come off like an interrogation, right? And believe me, as a former state trooper, I could just interrogate down the line. But it's meant to be a conversation. So I say, hey, by the way, you mentioned this was most important in question number 2. Well, why is that important to you? And what we're doing is we're going another level down, right? We're getting the motivation. We're talking about surface is what they want. But there's a why, there's a driving factor, there's a reason why they want to put this in play in their life. And you need to know that, because when you have to get them to act, you're going to say, hey, remember we said we're going to do this for that. We're going to help you put more money into your bank account this year, so that way 4 years from now we can do, retire in Arizona, build that swimming pool, whatever it is that their dream is. You can use those things to keep them motivated throughout the course, right? Throughout the course. All right, so that's question 3. Question 4. So, okay, hey, I understand that's most important. You're kind of working on it right now. Anything stopping you? I mean, is there anything that you like going, man, I just don't feel like I can do this because of whatever. What brick wall is in front of you? What obstacle? What challenge? What is it that, you feel, is going to be difficult? And again, if you use these questions like this, they should be able to tell you. What they're going to say are things like, well, I just don't know how to do it. It's too hard. I've never done this before. I don't know. I don't know how. It could be they don't have enough money. They don't have enough time. All these beliefs that they have about why they can't accomplish their goal are going to surface. They're going to start coming out. And what you can do then is start addressing that. What you want to do first is acknowledge. Oh yeah, I can understand that. Hey, it's tough for a lot of people. A lot of people are busy all day long. They just can't find the time. And a lot of times that's why, people like me, I can step in. Or what I've found is that, people tend to spend time, on things they think is most important. Is it possible that right now in your life, your most important goal isn't most important, it's something else, that you're working on. So you can get them to talk and use questions here, like tell me more, hey, help me understand, those type of things. What you want to do is get them to talk about what it is and take them down a couple of levels, which means, well, why do you feel that way? What makes you believe that? And again, don't do it in an interrogation way. Do it in a way that is more conversational. So, question number 5. Question number 5 actually helps them see the future, put their fingers on it, right? It's been said in the past that if you want to know what the future holds, you've got to bring it to the present. So that's what you're going to do. Is you're going to use this question to make their vision, their future, part of their present today. All right, and here's how you do that. You're going to say, hey, listen, say we could solve that. Say you knew how to do it, you had all the time, you had the money, whatever it is, whatever they told you was the biggest obstacle. Say, let's pretend that doesn't exist, or I can solve it, or you're using me as a coach. It doesn't matter. Let's pretend that doesn't exist. What would that mean in your life? What would happen? Right? See, now you're getting to say, okay, it's attainable, it's visual. You planted the small seed saying, well, maybe I helped you as a coach, or, I got you through this problem. But they're starting to see it. What would it mean? And now it's a deeper motivation. What their answer is going to be is, well, if I didn't have that, all the weight of the world would be, lifted off my shoulders, and I could do X percent more. I could change my dream. Instead of living in a single story, ranch on the river, now I can, build a lake house with a swing coming off the back. Whatever it is, their dream will change, or their motivation will expose itself on what else they can do, or how much easier their life would be because of that. That's the good. That's the relief, right? That's what coaching does, is it helps relieve, a lot of the, the fears that we have about not being able to do something. Okay. So here's where you're going to just ask them about commitment. What their goals are, what's most important to them, why that's most important, if there's anything that they think is stopping them, and what it would feel like if they could get past it. Now you can say, hey, I'd like to know just how serious are you about this? Because a lot of times I have these conversations, and people, it's a dream, but they're not really serious about it. Or some people are like, oh no, my whole life is focused on it. That's all I want to do. Every day I'm driven towards it. On a scale, on that scale of not really important to hyper focused, I'm going to make this happen. Where are you? And we'll just call it 1 to 10. 1 meaning, it's not really that big a deal. 10 meaning I'm ready to start right now. Or I'm already doing it. Where are you? And that's a hard question, right? It's a hard question to ask. That's why you got to put it as, hey, I'm just trying to gauge, your level of commitment, because when I work with folks, I like to work with folks that are ready to act, because we get more results that way a lot faster. But, if you're not ready, that's okay too. Some people just aren't ready to get started. They've got other things they want to take care of first. What you're going to get is most people, their pride won't let them go all the way to 10 or go down to 2. They might say, well, I'm at about a 6 or 7. And you're going to say, okay, 6 or 7, that's normal. A lot of people, it's focused. They're there. They just don't know what to do. They're a little scared, a little hesitant, and it's okay to be at a 6 or 7. If they say they're at a 6 or 7, chances are they're probably at a 5, right? And they just said 6 or 7. Realize they're probably a couple of levels lower than what they're telling you. So what you're going to do is follow that up and say, okay, well, hey, you're at 6, 7. That's really close to 10. What's stopping you? What's in the middle? What is it that you can't get past where you'd be at 10? And they're going to tell you, I don't know how to get started. I don't have enough money for the program. I don't, to ask for help. I don't know what to ask. They're going to come up with other things that are really objections to the sale. That's what they're telling you. They feel like you're starting to sell. And really you're not. You're saying, hey, listen, this isn't about me. I'm not even discussing my programs right now. It's just about you. I mean, and you have to buy in before I can ask you to work with me. You have to buy into your own dream, and that's really what we're trying to do, is get you to buy into your own dream. So they're going to tell you what it is. And what you want to do is really work through that. If it's time, well, hey, I understand. Maybe today's not, it's not important enough for you. And that's okay too. Right? Or I don't have enough money. Well, chances are you, as the advisor, have a couple of different packages, right? So you already know, there's a Cadillac type package, and there's a more entry level type package to at least get them started. So when they start, if it's a money issue and there's a money issue, you can have an option for them to get started at very little cost. Right? There's something you can do to at least get them to start thinking about it, saying at a minimum, maybe we should talk about this, our lower, you wouldn't call it the lower practice, but, our low tier offer, which is, the entry level, getting everybody started at least thinking about it. And it's our 7-minute conversation we have every month, and it's, $47 a month. And it's just a basic analysis that I teach in step number 2 of the Clear Path to Cash. So what you're trying to do is remind them that their goal is important. Their goal should be the front, at the very front of their thought every day in their business. And because they're working for something, they didn't go into business just to have a job. They went in there to create a lifestyle, And most people want what I call a lifestyle friendly business, which means it's generating enough cash to live the type of life that they want to live. You have to help them see that it's attainable and help them do that. All right, so that's question number 7. You say, okay, well, what do you think? I mean, if you're at a 7 or 8 now because you couldn't get into 10, there wasn't enough, things there to get their full commitment. You're 7 or 8. Just say, hey, does it cost you anything to, to not do this? I mean, what happens if you don't achieve your goal? What if it's just a dream that's just never achieved? Is there a cost associated with it? And what you'll do is you'll talk them through, hey, listen, by not paying attention to, monthly financials, and what you're doing is connecting by not paying any attention to X, Y, or Z, things that you offer, which is in your package, you're missing out on dollars, and you're going to be able to quantify those. Hey, listen, I use a mining for cash technique that we do on a regular basis, and I've had people come up with $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 hidden inside their own business just by the way it's operating. We can find that very quickly by not using these type of techniques, by not being active about generating cash inside your business. It could be costing you money as much as $300,000. I mean, do you think that's possible? And if they can say that there's a cost, if you can get them to acknowledge there's a cost, chances are the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of your program. Right? That's basically what I'm saying, is that talking them through there's a dollar, penalty. Every year you wait, it's harder and harder to achieve your dream, or you've got to change your dream. That's basically what we're saying. So the cost of inaction is higher than the cost of your program, is what we're saying. So that's question number 7. The last one. I know there's 9, but this is question number 8. Question number 8 is, hey, so what are you going to do about it? If you know that these challenges exist, you don't know how to do it, you don't know what's going on inside your business from a financial basis, you don't have the time or the money, what are you going to do? Right? That's not asking them to buy your program. Again, we haven't even introduced anything that we can do yet. We're just saying, what's your plan? I mean, is there something that you're doing that you need help with? Is there something that's going on? What's your plan? And again, the focus is on them and how they're solving their problem. And they're going to say, well, I don't know how to get started. I don't know what to do, or I don't know where to begin. That's where question 9 comes in. Say, well, would you like to hear how I help folks like you, in problems like this? And that's what I do all day long. I've got all these life stories. I've got all these experiences that I could share with you. I see other businesses running. I mean, you're not alone when you're working with me. I mean, I'm here to be your coach, and that's what I do. I'm here with you step by step all the way through. And that's exactly what I do for you in the Clear Path to Cash. My expectation would be that you continue on with your program in the same manner for your clients. So you're going to close not with a hard sell, buy my program. You're closing with, hey, would you like to just see what I do? And then you're going to tailor your program to their financial budget that you've already talked about. You're going to tailor it towards their motivations, their fears, and say, listen, I can help you with that. Don't worry about not having the time. Don't worry about not having the money. I've got a way to get started where we can just get the ball rolling, and you can see if this is going to be a good fit for you and maybe help you focus on your future. So those are the 9 questions. They take you all the way through their dreams, their vision of the future, and how you can help. I'm Cashflow Mike, and thanks for watching the 9-question enrollment framework. Good luck getting your clients.